Hey, what's up guys, today I'm going to be modding a PlayStation 3 and I'm going to theme it after the game Alice Madness Returns, which is basically Alice in Wonderland, but then Alice has gone mad and she's in a psychiatric hospital and you're going through her mad mind. So before we can do anything we have to take the PlayStation 3 apart, taking off the top panel because that's what I'm going to be painting and using today. That's going to be part 1. There's going to be a second part, but I'm not fully sure when that's coming. But as you can see, you have to remove 7 screws in the bottom, 7 big ones, like Phillips head, and 3 small security Torx screws on the front. I'm gonna clean the PlayStation to make sure there's no grease on it. I'm gonna sand it down, and then I'm gonna remove the plastic particles that are on there from the sanding. Then obviously I'm gonna dry it before I can paint it. But yeah, before painting there has to be a design. So what I did is took a picture of Alice, like the front art of the game, and then drew over it because I wanted to have like a black and white version of her, but not too much detail because I'm gonna have to paint this myself, of course. And originally I was planning to put Alice in the middle, having the symbols of her dress on the sides, and then her name below it, like within the same style as in the box of the game, and then applying some shade onto the PlayStation. But I didn't take into account that there's also a PlayStation 3 logo like on the top plate, so I'm gonna have to shove things around a bit, probably putting Alice to the left side, the symbols on the right side, and having the name where it was, like this. That is the design. So first of all, to make that, to paint that, I'm gonna need vinyl. So I'm using my curio to cut it. Standardly, it comes with a small cutting mat, but I luckily have the big cutting mat. I upgraded to that, so I can cut bigger designs like this. The width of the symbols, I'm going for about 5 centimeters or 2 inches. And thankfully, I could use the squares on the cutting mat, as you can see, to set the size for that. So I made sure everything fit to size, because I can only cut like designs that are like have a width of 21 centimeters and a height of I believe it's 30 or something like that. But yeah, that's pretty much enough. You're gonna have to trace the like the picture you put in there. You could select only several of them, but you're just gonna have to trace these images in order to know where it has to cut. As you can see, those are these lines. Let's delete the pictures themselves, leaving only the cutting lines. So I'm gonna make a separate design for Alice herself because I'm planning to cut that on black and white vinyl just in case I can't paint it. I'm gonna have to set it to cut vinyl, of course, because so it has the proper material. Then it knows what blade settings to use, which is currently blade type 1. I reduced the speed to 3 because I noticed for me that works better, and it's fast enough. I mean, it literally takes only a couple of minutes for designs like this. As you can see, I put the blade on 1, and you put it into your curio, load your design. I'm not really using the cutting mat as intended. You have to take off a layer and then it can stick to the cutting mat, but I'm using painter's tape to stick it to the cutting mat without removing that top layer, because then for me that I noticed that worked better than having one with it removed, like when it sticks to the cutting mat itself. I noticed this was way easier to do, and like I didn't have to buy new cutting mats all the time. So yeah, for those wondering, this is at 4 times the speed, by the way. So that's, yeah, you can imagine how long it takes. It's not that long to cut designs like this. So yeah, before we can apply these designs, we obviously have to paint it. I'm gonna be painting first a couple of white layers, and then to make the black fading, I'm gonna just slowly paint a black layer on top of it. But yeah, that needs a really thick white base layer.
Come now, Alice. It's only a dream.
It's not a dream, it's a memory. and it makes me sick.
Now, focus. Wait. You're floating again. Weightless. A cipher. Relax.
I'm in hell.
Forget it. Abandon that memory. It's unproductive. Go to Wonderland.
I can't. I'm trapped in my past.
Sergeant, this girl's badly burned. Call for a doctor.
She'll be all right.
No, Alice. Discard that delusion. Forget it. Go to Wonderland.
I'd rather not, Doctor. My Wonderland's shattered. It's dead to me.
Your preference doesn't signify, girl. Now, Alice, where are you?
I'm sailing with a friend. It's different somehow. Things have changed.
Change is good. It's the first link in the chain of forgetting.
What's happening? Are you mad?
I'm not mad.
Rabbit,
That's not right. What's he doing?
is something wrong?
Something wrong?
No, not that!
Don't struggle, Alice. Let the new Wonderland emerge.
Pollution. Corruption. It's killing me. Wonderland is destroyed. My mind is in ruins.
Forget it, Alice. Block that dream. Wake at the sound.
As you can see, it's quite a dark game, by the way. That's why I also want to have black of the PlayStation in there. So with the painting done, I decided that I tried to paint like with the vinyl, but that didn't work too well. So I'm just gonna use the vinyls as stickers, as I said earlier. So I'm gonna have to use transfer tape, or transfer foil, I mean, to transfer the designs, the vinyl stickers, to the PlayStation. The nice thing about transfer tape though is, first of all, you can see where you're placing your design, and second, as you can see, those small parts in the pockets of Alice, her dress, the symbols, they are wherever you want them to be. Getting the placement of all the parts of a design that's like exists of several parts, like for example the name Alice, the letters, the spacing of the letters needs to be right, it needs to be the same every time, and getting that right when you're placing things one by hand is super difficult, and you easily get one crooked, and sometimes that matters a lot. With transfer tape you're transferring them, all of them at once, so it's a lot easier to get the placement between them right, and it's a lot easier to make sure they're not like at an angle or something. So with the white part of her dress, I wasn't fully happy on the lines it cut near her neck, so I'm gonna have to readjust it a bit with my knife. So this is why having a sharp knife is really nice, by the way. Even if you're not using it to cut out your designs, it's still nice to have, because you can use it for like modifying the designs a bit if you're not fully happy. So the nice thing about applying several layers of vinyl, even though it's not always preferable, more preferable than painting, but it's a lot easier than painting, of course. And when you apply several layers of vinyl, it does add some depth effect due to the fact that it is like 0.1 of a millimeter thick. The nice thing about painting though is you can't really see, obviously you can see the contrast where the paint ends, but it's not like a layer. You can see it's a physical layer when you get close to the vinyl. And you can't do soft transitions, like for example the fading effect. You can do that with paint, but you can't do that with vinyl, because it's always a super sharp, hard line. So yeah, with all the vinyl on there and the painting done, it's time to put the top plate back on the PlayStation. You're gonna have to put those same 7 Phillips head screws back and the 3 security Torx screws. And you can also put back those little tabs, like the plastic covers and the rubberized grip that was on the bottom. So yeah, that is pretty much the mod of the top panel that I've done on this PlayStation 3. I'm still planning to mod the backside of this PlayStation, because as I said, it's going to be standing vertical, so you can see both sides, and I really want to make sure the backside is beautiful as well. I'm planning to incorporate a mini version of the knife, the Vorpal blade from this game, on the backside, but I'm not really sure on how to do that yet. But yeah, this is what the Vorpal blade looks like in the game, by the way. This is the intro scene of the Vorpal blade. Part 2 will come somewhere in the future. I'm not really sure when, because some parts still have to arrive in order to make that, and obviously I'm going to be experimenting a bit. So yeah, stay tuned for that.